Are we facing the end of website personalization? Are we facing the end of advertising personalization? It seems that Apple has once again driven a stake into the heart of digital marketers all around the world, and has almost got its targets locked on to Facebook and Google and their ability to target people and track people on Apple devices. So what happened? In this video, I want to talk about iOS 15, which is the latest update coming in October, so that you, the digital marketer, the entrepreneur, can understand a little bit about what is going on. So there are some pretty crazy updates coming. Pretty crazy updates. And remember, the last set of updates caused Facebook to take out full newspaper adverts, complaining about it, saying that it's hurting small businesses. And you know that when Facebook is saying it's hurting small businesses, shit is really going quite crazy. The first thing is that Safari and the Mail app are going to hide a user's IP address. So what this means is that as a digital marketer, you're not going to be able to know, first, where your user is from. So any location-based campaigns, well, as far as we know, the user's from planet Earth, but apart from that, you're not going to be able to know exactly if they're from this region or that region. So if you want to do any kind of location-based giveaways, a bit more tricky. Next, because they're masking the IP address, you're also not going to be able to know if a user has opened an email of yours. So you send out the email, you won't really know if John or Alex or Bill has even opened it. Right, so if you want to do any personalized kind of email flows based on opens and all of these kinds of things, it's going to be significantly more hard on users with Apple devices. Next, Apple is going to introduce a kind of enhanced incognito mode. So this is going to be a paid service called iCloud Plus, and it's essentially similar to a VPN in that it's going to hide and make a user much more anonymous when they visit your website using Safari. So if you want to personalize your website experience, maybe the next time they visit, you can say, oh, hey, welcome back. That's going to be a bit more tricky because it works like a kind of private tunnel. So when a user visits your website through this service, it's like they're driving through the private tunnel. You don't know who they are, versus if they were driving on a public highway and you could see, oh, it's that person again. So no, you're not going to be able to see if they're a returning person or where they're from or anything. Really, it's anonymous. The next idea targets you, email marketers. It allows a person to come to your website and sign up to an email newsletter with a unique generated email address instead of their real personal email address. So this will definitely hurt open rates in future emails because people are using these burner email addresses, and a lot of journalists and newsletters like this, they're complaining about this particular thing quite a lot. Also, Siri, the voice assistant, is going to stop sending user data to the internet. Instead, it's going to process your requests, like listening to Spotify songs, etc., directly on your device. Seems okay. And also, the app privacy report is going to give users a bit more information on when was the last time this app used my microphone, my location, all of this kind of thing. So what is the impact on marketers like you and me? Is it really the ad apocalypse? Is personalization going to die? Are we all just going to have to send generic newsletters to everybody? Well, maybe. So the CMO of Litmus, Melissa Sargent, says that brands will begin to lose understanding of consumers' interests, and as a result, send generic emails that are not contextually relevant to their needs. It makes a lot of sense. After all, we won't know who our Apple users are. We won't know if they're first-time customers or second-time customers. We won't know if they're from the UK or the USA, right? We just won't know the information. So how can we personalize things like emails? How can we personalize websites and all of this? While it may not happen straight away, it seems like this is the way it's going. So who knows, in maybe 1 year, 2 years, the person's identity on an Apple device may be just a black box that we will never be able to know as marketers. It definitely seems like privacy is the area that Apple is really standing on as a way to differentiate itself from Google and Facebook, who, by the way, are protesting like hell. Facebook actually took out full newspaper adverts standing up for small businesses and saying, hey, they're really hurting us. And when Facebook is protecting small businesses, shit is going crazy. To quote Mark Zuckerberg, Apple may say they're doing this to help people, but the moves clearly track with their competitive interests. So what are these competitive interests? And does Apple have a slightly darker agenda? But I thought Apple was protecting my user privacy. Surely they wouldn't start their own advertising endeavors, or would they? While tightening privacy rules for third parties, there is evidence that Apple is upgrading its own ad services. So analysts at Bernstein estimate that Apple earns around $2 billion per year from search ads in the App Store, with 80% profit margins. Developers can now buy search ads directly in the App Store. For example, if you search for Twitter, you'll see ads for TikTok. A new section called Suggested Apps was also previewed in the App Store search page. And now you can also buy ads in the news and stock apps. So, is this all a big play? Is it really about privacy? Or is Apple trying to regain control of the advertising market, which seems to have gone out of its control to Facebook? Well, here's what Eric Seufert has to say, a mobile advertising expert. He says that Apple wants to reclaim its position as the kingmaker of content discovery. So 10 years ago, people searched through the App Store to discover apps. If you got featured in the App Store, it was like hitting gold. Your company valuation could go up by hundreds of millions of dollars. But now, well, somebody sees a Facebook ad, a TikTok ad, an IG ad, Google ad for their app instead. They discover apps through that way. And what does that mean? It means that Google, Facebook, TikTok, etc., they really control the app market. And it's been 10 years, and clearly, maybe, Apple want to get that market back. So it's not just about the ad dollars, but it's about the control over what apps go on your phone. So, to quote, if Apple cripples mobile advertising, then the App Store becomes the primary discovery point for apps once again. And Apple decides how people use our iPhones. Apple decides which apps are popular. And can you put a price on that? So that's the iOS 15 update. Is it the end of the world? Probably not. But does it further make it harder to personalize and advertise to users? It sure will. Now, regardless of whether Apple has good intentions or bad intentions, doesn't really matter. As digital marketers, we need to get prepared that personalization is going to get a lot more difficult very soon. So iOS 15 is coming out in autumn, so around October time. So we have until then to really decide what the hell do we do. Right. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you liked it. I'll be releasing more marketing news content coming up. So once again, this is Jonathan Lowell. Have a great day. Cheers.